Welcome back to Smith Stadium here in Devon. The rain continues to come down, but the Brisca Formula 2 stock car action goes on. We've already seen Jamie Avery win the Benevolent Fund Trophy for 2021 with a dominant drive into a big field of over 30 cars. 3 more races to come here today. First up, the consolation race for drivers yet to make it through to today's meeting final. Luke Johnson, who led for most of the way in his heat until he was spun out on a restart, is on pole. Quite big names out in this one after a few drivers failed to finish the Benevolent Fund Trophy. John Palmer is out there in 24, Charlie Ginchard in 183, Matt Stoneman, Justin Fisher. We haven't got Luke Wrench though, the silver top. His car damaged in the Benevolent Fund Trophy. That's the end of his meeting, unfortunately. There's Paul Rice, 890, 700. Adam Rubery, Rebel Rubery as he's known from his successes in Rebels Racing. There's Justin Fisher alongside Josh Weir in 736. 320 Matt Hatch in among the blue graders as well. Getting ready to get underway then. 16 laps, the consolation. The last few places in the meeting final up for grabs. Already the yellow graders starting to battle it out. Slip and slide their way into an increasingly wet track. And 438 Mike Rice has tangled with John Broach. There's yellow graders everywhere. Colin Gregg's involved again. Oh, he's been in so many scrapes already today. Final place would be a just reward for him, but it may not happen, sadly. They get underway with Luke Johnson, 194, again the early leader. They start to sort themselves out. Watch for the higher graders coming through. There's a spin there for one of the yellow tops. I'll try and identify that in a moment, but it's a struggle to see these cars through the rain. It's getting ever worse out there. Getting ever worse for our camera crews as well, so fair play to them for their efforts. 890 Rice under fire from Matt Hatch in the 320. Matt Stoneman goes wide into the wall with less and less grip out there, less and less visibility for the drivers as well. 438 Mike Rice under fire from Matt Hatch, who goes through. Perhaps a lot of these spectators, I think, have departed as well, unfortunately. It's just too difficult for them out there. Tangle in the background on turn 3 there. Colin Gregg's involved again. Why wouldn't he be? He's having that sort of day, unfortunately. Luke Johnson still with the lead ahead of Lawrence Stack in the 928. Behind them, I think that's Kieran Bradford in the 27 going round the outside. 844 Jack Prosser sliding about there, going a little bit too quickly for the conditions, but he saves it. Still keeping up a fair turn of pace here despite how wet it is. There's Matt Stoneman, 127. He'll be one of the favourites of this race. Won the consolation here last night. There's John Palmer. Didn't even complete the first lap, unfortunately, of the Benevolent Fund Trophy race before going into the tyres. Charlie Ginchard got in the tangle in that one as well. 27 of Kieran Bradford under fire from Justin Fisher, who goes through in 315. I think he's now up into the lead because Luke Johnson has dropped back. Confirm that in a second. Charlie Ginchard attacking Palmer, goes through. There's Johnson under fire from Matt Stoneman. Yes, he has dropped back a few places, so it is Justin Fisher now into the lead in car 315, the blue top. Second place, we have one of the yellow tops. I think that's Kieran Bradford in the 27. Three wide there, Josh Weir, Matt Hatch and Lawrence Stack. Be pulling off to the centre there, one of the yellow graders, Dale Seneschal Jr., I think that was. Jack Prosser under fire from Paul Rice in the 890. Wouldn't believe this was Devon in June, would you? This is more like Buxton at the end of the season up on the hills of the Peak District here today. Such a shame for the promotion. Prosser runs out wide, Rice goes through, but you can see that they're just scrabbling for grip. So tricky out there to stop the back end coming round on these rear-wheel drive cars. Coming through into second place now is Matt Stoneman in the 127. He's got ahead of Kieran Bradford. There's a battle further back, 379 Dale Seneschal Jr. attacking Matt Hatch in the 320. There's not going to be many finishers to this consolation. 24 cars took the start. There's Mike Phillip, 195. Looking for a final place. Seneschal is lapped by 315. Justin Fisher has got a healthy lead here over Matt Stoneman in the 127. 4 laps to go this time. Andrews has spun out on the inside of turn 1 there. cars left running now. They're trying their best out there, though. Fair play to the drivers and their teams for putting on a show here. Seneschal gets bumped out of the way by Matt Stoneman. He's in second place, trying to catch our race leader, but in these conditions, if I was Matt, I'd play it safe and get a place in the final. Try telling that to a stock car driver in the heat of the moment, though. There's John Palmer, 24. Colin Gregg gets bumpered aside by Paul Rice in 890. Looks like he's heading for the final. He's up there in about 4th place at the moment. It's going to be a win for 315 Justin Fisher. We are on the final lap now. There is the blue grader. Healthy lead over Matt Stoneman in second. Comes up to lap James Lindsay on the final turn. The checkered flag is in sight. Justin Fisher comes in to win it. Matt Stoneman comes over in second. Side by side across the line there for third. Looks like Paul Rice got there just ahead of Kieran Bradford. Confirm the rest of the results in a moment as Luke Johnson spins across the line in 194. See where he came in there on the infield and then into the tyres backwards. We'll take a look at the results in just a second then. Win going to Justin Fisher, took the win by over 2 seconds ahead of Matt Stoneman. Paul Rice just beating Kieran Bradford home for third. Charlie Ginchard, who took 5th ahead of John Palmer. Luke Johnson did manage to get home in 7th ahead of Josh Weir, and then Jack Prosser and Luke Beeson rounding out the top 10. With conditions ever worsening, the meeting final out on track. We've got 29 cars out there for this one. Incidentally, apologies for the lack of some interviews today. The water getting into our cameras down in the pits, unfortunately, so apologies there. The major players who qualified out there for this one. John Palmer is out there, Stephen Gilbert, Charlie Ginchard, Jamie Avery's out there, of course, in 126, Joe Marquand, Matt Linfield, who we saw in Heat 1, Justin Fisher, the consolation winner, Jack Cave in 801, Tommy Farrell in 667. Away we go then with the meeting final over 20 laps. Just the one white grader off the front of the field. That's Luke Johnson, and already we lose one of the yellow graders there into the marker tyres. There goes another one off on the outside. The 746 of Gary Kitching has tangled with somebody there. It's getting impossible even to see the numbers on these cars. How can they race in this? How can they see where they're going? This is getting impossible now. Well done to everybody here at Smith Park Stadium, drivers and everyone else, for trying their hardest as the weather yet again, as it so often does, tries to ruin the action here at Taunton. Ian England dropping back there, our earlier heat winner. 325 Ryan Sheehan goes for a spin. 667 of Tommy Farrell battling for the head of the blue tops. Matt Linfield up there in 464 as well. Reds and superstars yet to come through. It's Luke Johnson with the early lead, the only white grader to qualify for this final, I think. There's 184 of Aaron Vates. The cars slide out on the centre. One of them is Matt Stoneman in 127 facing backwards. The other one was Aaron Vates. He saved it and kept going. There's Jack Cave, Captain Caveman, attacking Jess Smith in the 390. Stephen Gilbert on the back of 24 John Palmer. Always a bit of a rivalry between those two. Ginchard under fire from Aaron Vates. Another very hard-hitting race. There could be a change for the lead coming up here. Watch for 915 there at the inside. That's Jamie Jones. He takes the lead from Luke Johnson. Behind them, Ben Spence in the 903. Then it's Matt Linfield and then Tommy Farrell in the 667 car. It's the lead battle. We've lost one of the blue tops, so I think it might have been Justin Fisher. Jack Cave under fire from John Palmer. Here comes a bit of bump work. Tommy Farrell walloping with the bumper there, takes out 3 cars ahead of him and takes the lead of the race. Good stuff there, Tommy Farrell. Jamie Jones was the erstwhile leader. He was the man sent spinning. That could have taken him out of the race. Palmer's got ahead of Captain Caveman in 801. Jack Cave. So your leader is now Tommy Farrell in 667, who comes from an enormous racing family. I think every member of the Farrell family has raced at some point. Dan Fallows, number 581 under fire from Jamie Avery, who seems to be revelling in these wet conditions better than anybody else here. He's really carving his way through the field. It's Michael Schumacher, who was nicknamed Der Regenmeister, the Rain Master. I think that nickname might be passed on to Jamie Avery here. He's flying along. Look at the amount of standing water on the track there on turns 1 and 2. There's Palmer in 24, desperate for a good result here. Lost one of the yellow tops, that's Jamie Jones on the outside there, I think. Still Tommy Farrell who leads the way in 6.67. Ian England attacking John Palmer. Ian England will just hit any car that's in front of him. Great entertainer, is Ian. Similar to Palmer, really. Well, there go the leaders, and it's Joe Marquand catching our leader in 6.89. His grandfather, Johnny Marquand, was a two-time brisca F2 world champion back in the 1960s. Joe continuing the family tradition. He's attacking for the lead here. Farrell's run wide there through turn 4. Side by side across the line. The bumper's going to go in here into turn 1, or they're going to try to. Joe Marquand tries to attack. He's going to box him in. Oh, he's going to spin him aside coming out of turn 2. He's going to box him in behind Jack Prosser, I thought there, but instead he spins Farrell around and takes up the lead. 6.89 with the lead. And look who's lurking behind him. There's Jamie Avery, looking for a title race and final double. You don't get to say that too often. He's won the Benevolent Fund Trophy already. There is Marquand, there's Avery. There's Matt Stoneman. Now he's recovering after an off earlier on. You can see that much wider line he's using through the water splash there on the outside of the turn. Is that going to work for him? Is he going to carry him back up the order? There's 4.67 about to be lapped. That's Aidan McFerrin. Beautifully turned out car for him. Still Joe Marquand leads the way. If he wins this final, he'll go up to red grade. Here comes John Palmer. Attacking under fire, under attack I should say, from I think that's Ben Borthwick in 4.18. Towards the sharp end of the field. There's Tommy Farrell ahead of them. I think he's still third after that quick spin, but he was hooked aside by Joe Marquand. There's Jack Cave in 8.01. Further down the order, some heroics from him earlier on. Battle of the yellow graders there. Jack Prosser in England. Lost a couple more cars on the outsides of the turns. We're in the closing stages now though. Joe Marquand, can he hold off Jamie Avery for the victory? Stephen Gilbert in 5.42. He's in the lower reaches of the top 10, the British champion. There is Marquand. Avery's getting ever closer. There's Luke Johnson, 1.94, the only white grader in the race. I would say it's between these two now for victory. They're coming up to lap Matt Stoneman in 1.27, so his wide line tactic's not working. 2 laps to go. Can Marquand hold on? He'll be hoping none of the back markers hold him up here because Jamie Avery is only a couple of car lengths behind him. Is he going to get a chance to attack? Is he going to have to wait till the last bend? Oh, Marquand's run wide. This is Avery's opportunity. He moved Matt Stoneman out wide but went offline himself. He saved it. He's still leading. We're on the last lap now. But here comes Jamie Avery. He's ready to attack as they go down towards the last bend. Are we going to see a last bend lunge? Will the conditions allow it? Here comes Avery up the inside. He's got the inside line. Wallop. He takes Marquand out wide. And he's up the inside. And it's a double win for Jamie Avery. He takes the meeting final. Excellent drive. Last bend lunge worked. He didn't connect with the back bumper, he connected with the side rail, and Joe Marquand is relegated to second. We'll confirm the rest of the finishers shortly. Brilliant drive by Jamie Avery, the Rainmaster of brisca Formula 2. Benevolent Fund Trophy won earlier on, and now he wins the meeting final. Spins in celebration. I'm not sure that was intentional there. Maybe it is. A few donuts from Jamie Avery. What a day he's had. 2 big trophies for the cabinet. So Marquand pulling up to congratulate him there. Avery taking the win by half a second with that last bend lunge. It was John Palmer who came in third behind Joe Marquand. Tommy Farrell, the earlier leader, was 4th ahead of Ben Borthwick. Then Matt Linfield 6th, Ian England 7th. Stephen Gilbert having to settle for 8th ahead of Jack Cave. Paul Rice rounding out the top 10. Final race of the day then. The Grand National. The few spectators who are remaining are huddled under the grandstand on the home straight. There's only 15 cars out there. Most of the drivers opting for somewhere warmer and drier. Joe Marquand's out there though. Tommy Farrell, Jack Cave, Justin Fisher, the consolation winner. Just the one red grader, that's Paul Rice. Back of the field there, got a couple of superstars. John Palmer is one of them. I think that's Aaron Vates possibly alongside him. It's near impossible to see. Jamie Avery, of course, starts from the lap handicap, having won the final. Dale Seneschal Jr. and Richie Andrews will lead them away into the monsoon they go. This is going to be the most difficult race of all. Reduced field of just 15 cars out there. It's 6.05 of Richie Andrews, who sets off into the early lead. It's not going to last long. He's going to have Seneschal put into him there. It's going to take out a few cars on the outside. Jamie Jones comes through into the lead. Most of the field's gone in there on turn 3, I think. There's not many cars that have made it round. Lawrence Stack has spun. We already lost one of the blue tops there, just rejoining. I think it might have been Justin Fisher. So Jamie Jones leads from Tommy Farrell up into second. It's Jack Cave third. But I don't think we're going to get many finishers to this race. I won't be surprised if none of these drivers can even see where they're going, sadly. They're trying their hardest. They're doing their best to put on a show. And apologies for the loss of a few of our cameras during these last couple of races, the water getting into them. Fair play to our camera operators out there at trackside. Far from ideal working conditions. Joe Marquand with the bumper there on John Palmer. You can see the spectator banks around the circuits have emptied. It's just so wet out there. Tommy Farrell going well. He's taken the lead from Jamie Jones. Jack Cave in third place. Tommy, whose father Tim was a very successful brisca F2 racer. His uncle Rob as well. And every other member of the Farrell family. I think I had about 6 of them out in mini stocks at some point as well. And wallop straight in we go. Richie Andrews and Jamie Jones tangle up. That's the end of Richie's race. Went in backwards. 6, 6, 7. Tommy Farrell spun out while leading earlier on. Can he hang on for a win this time? Not if John Palmer's got anything to do with this. Gets the bumper in on Jack Cave, attacking for second place. Behind them, Joe Marquand in 6.89. He does go well in the wet, as we saw in the final. Came within one turn of winning the final. And where's Jamie Avery going to make it up to from his lap handicap? He is the newly crowned Rainmeister. He's in there somewhere. We see him further back, not at the moment through the monsoon. Leaders up through turns 3 and 4. Farrell from Palmer, Marquand. Jack Cave has been relegated to 4th place, and Marquand in with the bumper. He spins Palmer out. That nearly took Jack Cave out as well. Leader lapping Ben Spence in 9.03. Can Tommy Farrell hang on for victory? Starter signals them through. Joe Marquand up to second now. Third is Cave. Palmer rejoined after his spin. Behind Paul Rice in the 8.90 now, one of 2 Red Raiders to start this race. I did say he was the only one at the start, but of course Jamie Avery was off the lap handicap. Here goes the bumper on Lauren Stack. That's going to send her flying into a spin from the race leader. Tommy Farrell not taking any chances. He's removing all the back markers he comes across because he knows Joe Marquand's there and ready to attack for the lead. Over the line they go. It's halfway. Just gone halfway. It's 18-lap Grand National. Marquand in the bumper on Farrell. He's caught him. Down the back straight. We're going to see the bumper go in here at turn 3. So try and move him wide. Yes, he's up the inside on the exits. He's going to take the lead here down the home straights. Farrell tries to hang on around the outside. There's cars going off ahead of them. Wallop into Richie Andrews' car goes Ian England. I think that was Dale Seneschal as well. Joe Marquand now leads the orange and purple liveried car. Very smart looking machine. Farrell down to second, then it's Cave, Rice, Palmer. And a couple of yellow graders behind. I think that's Jamie Jones still in there, who led early on. Leader goes wide to avoid a possible attack there from Tommy Farrell. We're almost to the end of this race now. Look at the standing water. This is so treacherous for these drivers. It is perhaps a blessing that we are coming to the end of this meeting. So dangerous out there now. Then again, I have seen worse conditions in my career. I remember one meeting at Birmingham Wheels a few years ago that ended in snow. The track was completely white by the end of the meeting, and only about 5 cars came out for the Grand National. Driving home from that wasn't much fun either. We're coming to the end of this one now. Just a couple of laps to go here at Smithart. It is going to be a win for Joe Marquand by the look of things. He's pulled away from Tommy Farrell now. Into his last lap he goes, lapping one of the back markers there. The checkered flag this time for Joe Marquand. Here he comes. Round the final turn. Marquand wins it. Farrell second. Cave third. Blue Raiders 1, 2 and 3. Then John Palmer, Paul Rice round out the top 5. Jamie Avery made it into the top 10. We'll see where he got up to in just a moment when we confirm the results. So the win going to Joe Marquand ahead of Tommy Farrell by nearly 2 seconds. Jack Cave in third, then Palmer and Rice fourth and fifth. Justin Fisher taking 6th. Jamie Avery making it up to 7th from the lap handicap. Then Jamie Jones, Ben Spence and Kieran Bradford completing the top 10. I think Lawrence Stack the only other finisher. So that concludes a very wet day, this second day here at Smithart Stadium, Taunton. Fair play to everyone for making it a good show. Apologies for the lack of interviews due to the rain getting into our camera equipment, but well done to everybody here at Smithart Stadium this weekend. That just about wraps up the action. Next time we have the National Championship for the Saloon Stock Cars from here at Smithart Stadium in our next programme. But for now, thanks for watching and goodbye.